Hi there. My name is Gareth Thomas. I'm the President, CEO, and Director of Westhaven Gold Corp. Westhaven is solely focused on what's known as the Spences Bridge Gold Belt in southwestern British Columbia.
Gareth, good to see you. I know you're at the Beaver Creek conference there. You've got a few meetings lined up for over the next few days. So thanks for making the time. It's super early in the morning as well. Appreciate that. Hey, but some hot news off the press this morning. What is it?
Yeah, we are very happy to announce we just we've been working on this for quite some time here, but we arranged a nice financing deal with Franco-Nevada. It equates to about just shy of 8 million US, 7.75 million US, which equates to just over 10 million Canadian. And that's for we're selling a 2% NSR on our Shovelnose. In fact, all our projects to Franco-Nevada. And we're also selling our 2.5% NSR we have on Talisker ground to them for 750,000 US. So yeah, once again, just over 10 million US, and I think that's just over 10 million Canadian. But it's also important to note that where we are in BC with the mineral exploration tax credit, we get 30% back. So these being hard dollars, so that really equates to about 13 million. In cash we have here, and that gets us well into 2024 here. So when these markets here being pretty soft and tricky, so this is a very good non-dilutive way to finance. We think it was the best option here moving forward.
Right. So I'm so intrigued by this. Obviously, Franco-Nevada, that's a huge endorsement. The fact that they're not going to give you their money for free. It's so they're going to take a little slice for that, but they also don't want to waste their money. So how long did that deal take to put together, and why are they looking at you? I mean, you're like 55 million market cap company. Is this a normal deal for them? It seems you're a small company compared to the normal size of deals that they do, is I guess where I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, it's a huge endorsement, as you say, Matt. It's we're humbled, and it's we couldn't you can have a better group in this situation for us. And I should note that it's 6 million US for the royalty, but they're also doing a $1 million private placement here as well with us. So that's another put in their stamp of approval. They certainly see the positives of the Spences Bridge Gold Belt and Shovelnose. And yeah, it's been we've probably been 4 or 5 months now sort of working on this, and it was one of our goals probably for the last year to look at more creative, non-dilutive ways to finance. That's something we're very cognizant of, is obviously our shareholders and our share structure, and we thought this is the best way to move forward.
So what do they know that the market doesn't? Because if I look at the reaction back in beginning of April, you put out that amazing haul, 37 grams per ton over, I think it's 23.5 meters, okay? People are super, super excited. And then you didn't deliver any more holes like that. So explain what Franco are looking at. They seem to be comfortable with this low sulfidation model with the occasional high sulfidation hole every now and again. So why isn't the market?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's these systems, these low sulfidation epithermal systems can be a little tricky and take a bit of time to unearth. And I think to be honest, Matt, after we drilled our south zone and the 1.1 million ounce resource there, we were hitting these 400 or 500 gram meter intersections. To be honest, I didn't think I'd see another one, especially 2 kilometers away from the south zone. So I think any group that goes up to our property, and we've toured many, that's no secret, they all agree this is a very strong system, but it can take a little bit of sleuthing to unearth. So I think they see the big picture here. I think they see just not only on Shovelnose, but I think they see this as a district scale opportunity, hence them, the royalty throughout all 4 of our projects. So it's just a big, coming from them, it's just nice for them to see the potential here.
Right. Okay. I know you've got this 1 million ounces in your back pocket already, but with this money, how do you allocate that capital? What's the best use of proceeds? As you say, in quite a tight market, also in a market was highly competitive down at your level. What are you going to be spending that on?
Yeah, well, we're going to continue on the drill bit. Obviously, we got 2 rigs on Shovelnose. One of those is actually we're heading up to our Skoonka project up to the northwest, which we've never drilled before. We've had this project since 2017, but for various reasons, most notably our success at Shovelnose, we haven't really put many resources. We've been up to Skoonka, but we haven't drilled it. So this year we're going to be drills turning by end of this month. So be some money there, see what we have at Skoonka. Then of course continue to develop on Shovelnose, and we have hundreds of targets there that we see a lot of potential in, and off this main 4-kilometer strike where we have the South Zone, we had that big intercept you mentioned, and we're continuing to see this vein as we work our way to the northwest. But we're also getting back to the basics a little bit, doing a lot of boots on ground, geologists in the field, prospectors, getting there's a lot of ground to be explored here. It's a 17,000 hectare property, which it's hard to say. We've been here for 10 plus years, that it's underexplored, but we've been focusing pretty heavily on this 4-kilometer long structure. But we got lots of targets that we've been delineating over the past couple of years.
Yeah, like I think the early years you were cash constraints. I don't think it's any surprise that you're starting to sort of ramp things up now. You've got this money. The bulk of the money from Franco-Nevada is in the form of an NSR. So clearly they think you'll get into production, or this asset will get into production, right, at some time, because that's how they make their money. There's a little bit of equity in there, but you've also got to play the equity game. You've got to kind of drive the value of this thing up, because that's what your shareholders want, because that's how they make their money. So you've got to get that balance right. So what are the things that you think, or you guys discuss internally, which kind of drive that? Because you're explorers at heart. You want to kind of make other discoveries, and you kind of want to build up the picture here, but you also got to build up those ounces. You got to build up those economic ounces. There's got to be another study coming down the line sometime soon. So how are you playing this over the next 18 months?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question too, Matt. I think the big thing is here, we want to build our gold and silver inventory. That's no secret. We want to add ounces here. We see the 2 million ounce mark being a kind of a magic number where many groups are they start getting more interested at that point. We believe this will be a mine of some sorts, even where it is right now, but it's not going to get the interest of some of the. Location's key here. We've spoken many times, and it's right off a major highway in Canada. We're half an hour from the city of Merritt, so it's. That's obviously bodes well for what we are, but we want to find more with the drill bit, and hence that's where a lot of this money will go to unearth it. You're finding more gold here, and then likely next year at some point, no time frame yet, but we'll look to probably come out with a resource. Then we also have an underground component likely as well at the South Zone, which we think is probably going to be better than the open pit scenario, which is already really good, but. Just depending on where the economics will drive that. And we're not thinking economics yet. We're thinking let's find more gold. Then we'll get to that next number resource, add to that. So, and as you know, there's a lot of companies out there with selling their companies without a resource, and I think you're exactly right, Matt. You drill at 23 meters at 37 grams there, and then it kind of fizzles out. But I think once again, these systems, they're very. You can hit a good example for your listeners if they're interested. We have a slide in our deck now, an analog to Pajingo in Australia. It's you hit here and you might not hit next to it, but those ounces add up, and that's I think we're going to see more good intercepts. It's just a matter of time.
Right. So, and also just kind of conscious of the. Inflation has hit explorers and producers alike, right? So in terms of the drills, you're sticking with how many drills are you sticking with? Are you going to slow the program down despite having the money, or are you ramping it up? I mean, again, how do you play that?
Yeah, and that's been a big topic here at Beaver Creek and all our meetings amongst the various people we're meeting with. That's a big topic, right? Are you ramping things up? And this is, of course, nobody knowing that we've raised this money, but. That's a big topic here. Is do you ramp up? Do you slow down in these markets? You're not getting are you getting the attention of the market with things that aren't necessarily, unless they're 23 meters or 37 grams. So for us now, we're keeping with two rigs. That seems to be a good number for us. Then once again, that one's moving to Skoonka. Then we'll have that one back in the winter to have 2 rigs again. So that 2 rigs seems, but. Certainly, we could be ramping up early next year if the market looks like it's going to show some a bit of turn here, and that's what some people are saying here. Everyone has an opinion, but a lot of people think something might happen in the junior space here in the next couple months. But we keep our head down and try and do our job here and get shareholder uptick here. So that's our goal, and that we think we can do that with the drill bit.
Right. Okay. And I'm going to come back to the Franco-Nevada bit because it's in terms of the endorsement component, because it's kind of a guide for investors who perhaps don't necessarily haven't got the experience or the knowledge or the know-how to do the proper diligence. Saying a company like Franco-Nevada does this. They don't pick up cheap, ineffective NSRs and hope that they'll flip it down the road or they'll receive the same kind of multiples across their portfolio. So what was it that they saw in you? Because I can't go over the fact that they'd invest in a company as small as yours if they didn't believe the asset had some huge upside to it. So what are the key things that they're looking for? If they're not worried about how long it takes to get there, because I think royalties tend to have a longer approach to this. What were the things that led them to believe this thing's going to get into production? You kind of got some high topographical component to this, and you kind of lower stuff. You got the high grade and the low grade. So they must believe that I've got some sense of how this thing actually gets mined, and have some sense, like people do in the industry do very early on, that the economics will stack up. So what were the actual conversations? What were they pointing at? Going, tell me more about that.
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't we didn't get into too much depth about the mining, how they foresee that going. I think it was really at this stage, as you mentioned, a relatively small company, since comparing it to someone like Franco. Yeah, it's for them. I think it's them seeing the ability to get to multi-million ounces, and I think just once again our location. And I think when people get up there, I think it's a real. I think you may go, oh, that Westhaven looks kind of interesting, but when you're actually boots on ground on the property, I think you get a good idea of the lay of the land. It looks, I'm not a miner. I will just say that out of I don't, I won't pretend to be, but when you get up there, you see it's the lay of the land's very, it's good for, it's what you want to see. There's no big red flags. There's no big lakes. There's no big rivers. It's, a pretty, a good spot to be. And for them, though, I think really it's the potential, the multi-million ounce potential that they see. And because I don't think, royalty groups is a very competitive space, as right now. But I think for Franco, I think they see the potential here to add a lot more ounces.
Right. Okay. And tell me.
Sounds simple, but that's I think that's what their driving force was there.
Simple works. Simple works. And so with the FMN zone, how much of the new drilling, how much more are you going to be doing there? Because I think that's the thing. This area kind of people got excited about, but are you going to step away from that, or is there more work to be done?
So we've interesting you mentioned that we're drilling right now between the northwest towards the Franz from the FMN. There's a gap of about 500 meters we haven't tested, and we're still considering seeing some we're seeing the vein there. So we're following that along. Then we've also stepped out a few. We've tested some targets on the periphery. In fact, our news last week, we announced call it a new discovery. We're not getting too excited. It's nothing earth shattering, but we did hit. On both lines, we drilled 6 holes, 1.2 kilometers to the north of the main structure there, and we hit 6 meters of gram, 1.23 grams, and another hole we hit a meter of 3.5 grams. So something's going on there. I will remind people this is how the South Zone started. We started very little till you get to learn a little bit more about the geology there, but. Yeah, this is a parallel, what appears to be a parallel structure running a 1.2 kilometers to the north of this, currently this big one. So that's our very true belief that there's going to be a lot more of these. And that's what we're focusing on now. We got lots of our team working on this. We have been for, better parts of 3 years, really focusing on periphery targets along with this strike.
Right. Okay. And tell me what's the mood there, because I think you've been there for a day, and I've got a full day lined up for, now and probably tomorrow as well. But with regards to the precious metal markets, normal rules don't seem to apply. It's under a lot of pressure. 1,700 gold, silver down as well. People are asking you, how you look after, being guardians of your shareholders' capital. Do you wind down? Do you ramp up? Do you stay steady as you go? But are they concerned about the precious metal market, or is it all really a case of people are looking for where they're going to be able to deploy their capital in the near term? What are investors saying?
Yeah, that's another very good question again, because it really varies, and depending who you talk to, there's some people who they are very down on the market in general, and they have no money to deploy. They're not overly optimistic, at least right now. But then you talk to other groups that have a lot of money to deploy and see this as a bottom. Some are calling this a long bear market, a 400. In fact, one, I won't name his name, but named a 400-day bear market inside of a bigger bull market. So there's optimism that this is going to, by year end, this is going to hopefully get an uptick. But Matt, I don't like to talk about it very often. I mean, this is my thing. I try and stay out of the big macro picture, but generally the feeling here is very good. It's I think people are happy to be back in person, and the mood seems to be pretty good. It's I haven't got out and socialized too much yet, but yeah, everyone seems to be. There's that's another thing I'll just touch on is in and around, working around BC, at least there's no shortage of programs going on. You can't find drillers, for example. Workers are hard to come by. Geologists are hard to come by. It seems like it's very busy. So if that's the sentiment, then I think we're in good shape.
I think so. And I guess with your new non-dilutive capital, you don't have to worry about what's going on in the market for any time soon. Gareth, good to see you, buddy. Good luck with the meetings. Hope they all go well. And stay in touch. Let us know how you get on with the new drilling, okay?
I appreciate it, Matt. Thank you. Have a good day.